Hi boys and girls, we finished our fudge series, but I have another book to share with you that I think you're gonna like a whole lot. It's called The Chalk Box Kid, and I'm gonna scooch it in just a little bit so that you can see it. It's not as thick, but it's still one that I really like, and I hope that you enjoy. And I thought, it's summertime, and I know in school we would always take our sidewalk chalk out and draw and do different things with it, so maybe this will give you some ideas. Now, since this book is so tiny, I'm not going to do a chapter a day. I'm going to do 3 chapters a day, stop, and then do the next 3, because there's only 9 chapters in it. So if we do 3 groups of 3, 3 plus 3 plus 3, 3, 6, 9, that'll be all of the minutes. So I hope you enjoy this one as much as I do. This is one of the ones that I would have read to when we were still in school. So chapter 1. Oh, and this one has some pictures, so I'll show you some pictures too. Chapter 1 is called The Room. And Charlotte's right here beside me. She's moving a little bit. Of course, she waits until I start to read. Gregory heard the clock strike. It was an hour till midnight. His birthday would soon be over. He went to the door and looked out into the street. "Shut the door," said Aunt Grace. "I thought I heard the car," he said. "Gregory," his aunt said, "the cold air is coming in." And here's a picture. There's a little sunflower over by the number 1. He shut the door and he went back and sat by her on the sofa. His tablet and paints and brushes were out on the table, but he didn't feel like painting. He sat there and tried to watch television with Aunt Grace. It had been a long day, and so far it was his very worst birthday. He had wanted to go with Mother and Daddy. They were moving to another house, and he hadn't even seen it yet. "If you go with us, you'll just get tired," Mother had said. "I want you to stay with Aunt Grace." He had thought she didn't remember what day it was. He had told her, "I'm 9 years old today." "I know," she had said, "and I'm sorry we can't have a cake or a party. There's just no time. We have to finish moving." But he kept thinking there would be something for his birthday. He went to the door again. This time the car was there, and Mother was getting out. She came up to the door, and she had on old clothes, and she looked tired. "Hello, Grace," she said. "Thank you for keeping Gregory. Are you ready, Gregory?" He picked up his tablet and paints and brushes and was ready. Then he went to the car. She sat up front with Daddy. Gregory got into the back. They drove across the city. Gregory went to sleep, and when he woke up, they had stopped under a streetlight. The light shone on a house. "Is this it?" he asked. "This is it," said Daddy. Daddy had lost his job at the factory, and now he had a different job. That was why they had to move. The house was small, and it needed paint. It looked as if it had grown out of the sidewalk. There was no yard at all. They went inside, and Gregory saw boxes and papers, and he saw bare walls, meaning walls with nothing on them. "You'd better go to bed," said his mother. "Where?" he asked. She showed him his room. His bed was in it. His chair and table were in it too, and he asked, Is it mine?" "Do you like it?" she asked. "Oh yes," he said. "It used to be the porch," she told him. "We had a wall put in the window, so there was something for his birthday. There was something better than a cake or a party." And here's his little bedroom. Every picture that you're going to see in here is just a black and white picture, and I kind of like that about this book. A lot of times with chapter books, that's what they are. "Go to bed now," said Mother. She went out and left him in there. He sat on the bed and looked at the room. It was not very wide, but it was long. It was a big room for such a little house. He looked at the floors and at the walls and at the ceiling, and he looked at it in every single corner. This was what he had always wanted, his very own room. He heard a clock strike. His birthday was over, and it was now the best birthday he had ever had. Chapter 2 is called Uncle Max. Gregory woke early. The day was coming in. He lay there and looked at the room that was all his. By the bed was a box he and Mother had packed. His things were still in it. He got up and began to dig in the box. He found his old yellow robe and put it on. His tablet and paints and brushes were on the table where they had put them last night, and without making any noise, he went into the kitchen and brought back a cup of water. What do you think he's going to do with that cup of water? Drink it? I think something else. He sat down at his table and he began to paint. The paper in his tablet was too small, but he painted a red house. That wasn't too bad. He painted a sunflower. That was a little better, and his mother came to the door. He asked her, "Do we have any thumbtacks?" "What do you want with thumbtacks?" she asked. "I want to put my pictures up," he said. She brought him some tacks, and he put his pictures up on the wall. They looked good there, even if they were too small. Now the room looked like it really was his. He and Mother and Daddy had breakfast. "I'll make more coffee for Max," said Daddy. Gregory asked, "Is Uncle Max coming here?" "He is," said Daddy. "Then I'm going out," said Gregory. "Where?" said Mother. "Up the street," he said. "I don't know," said Mother. "I'll let him," said Daddy. "He just wants to see the new neighborhood. Isn't that right, Gregory? Don't you just want to see the new neighborhood?" "Yes," said Gregory. He went out. The air was cold, but it felt good. It felt like spring. He walked up the street. It was Sunday morning, and there weren't many people out. He saw a grocery store, and he saw a few places that looked like garages or small factories. I'm going to show you the picture on the other side where he was drawing a sunflower. And do you see what he used that cup of water for? It looks like maybe he has some watercolors that he was painting with, I think. Do you like that, Charlotte? The next block got better. There were more houses and trees, and in the block after that, he came to a school. It was the Dover Street School Mother had told him about. He would be going there. He walked a few more blocks, and then he went home. His Uncle Max was there. Uncle Max was 20. He had a red beard, and he played the guitar and made up songs. Most of the time, he was out of work. "Well," he said in his loud voice, "here comes the great Gregory. Here comes the paintbrush kid." "Hello," said Gregory. Here he is walking. You can see him right over here, walking as he's taking a look at everything on the street. Hopefully my fingers aren't in it too much. Charlotte, please don't go behind. He went to his room. The door was open. There was another bed in the room, and there was the guitar on the bed. Mother called him into the kitchen. "Uncle Max will be with us for a while," she said. "He isn't working now and he needs a place to stay." Gregory looked at her. "It won't be so bad," she said. "It's not my room," he said. "It's his." "It's yours too," she said. But he knew how that would be. "Why don't you like your Uncle Max?" she asked. "He thinks he's important," said Gregory. "He is important," said Mother. "We all are." "He thinks no one is important but him," said Gregory. He went outside, and there was concrete all around the house. Even the wall across the back was concrete. There was a gate in the wall, and it was painted green, but an ugly green. He could hear Uncle Max playing the guitar, and he kicked the gate. He kicked it so hard that some of the paint fell off. Chapter 3 is called The New School. In the morning, Mommy and Daddy got ready for work. She cooked in a restaurant, and he was a guard at a bank. "Mother," said Gregory, "do you want your uncle to go with you to the new school?" Gregory shook his head. "Don't you want someone to help you get started?" she asked. "No," he said, "I've done it before." He went to school. He found the office, and a woman there sent him to room 3. And that was his room. His teacher was Miss Perry. She said to the class, "We have a new boy in our room, and his name is Gregory." She asked what school he had come from. "Northlake," he said. "Is that here in the city?" she asked. "Yes." "It's a big school," he told her. "It's bigger than this." He liked Miss Perry. He thought he was going to like Dover Street School, and he began to learn the names of the boys and the girls. At noon, a boy named Vance came up to him on the playground. Vance was the biggest boy in room 3. "Did you say you went to North Lake School?" he asked. "Yes," said Gregory. "What made you say it's a big school?" asked Vance. Some other boys and girls had come by, and they were listening now. "It is a big school," said Gregory. "No, it isn't," said Vance. "I've been there, and it's not as big as this." "It looks bigger," said Gregory. "Well, it isn't," said Vance. "You like to brag, don't you?" "I wasn't bragging," said Gregory. "I just said it was bigger. I didn't say it was better." He stopped. No one was listening. Vance and the others had gone away. Take a look at his face in this picture. This almost looks like a chalk drawing to me even here, but like a charcoal chalk, not that colored sidewalk chalk. After school, he walked home alone. Uncle Max was there watching television. Gregory went into the room that was his and his uncle's. There were pictures on the walls that he had never seen before. There were big red and black posters of race cars. Gregory's pictures were nowhere in sight. He went back to the front room. "Where are my pictures?" he asked. The television was turned up loud, and Uncle Max turned it down. "What did you say?" "My pictures," said Gregory. "Where are they?" "They're still there," said Uncle Max. "You put your posters over my pictures?" said Gregory. "Don't you like my posters?" said Uncle Max. "No, I don't," said Gregory. "That's too bad," said Uncle Max, and he turned the television up again. Gregory was angry. He wanted to go into the room and tear down all his uncle's posters, but that would only make things worse. So he went out back and tried to find something to do. He shook the gate in the wall, and there was a wire that held it shut. He began to work with the wire, and he worked it until it came loose, and he opened the gate. On the other side was part of a building. The building had burned, and one room was left. It had 3 walls and no roof, and there were bricks all over the floor. It looked as if no one had been there for a long time. Here's the picture right here. Right there. Gregory went in. He walked through spiderwebs and dust, and he piled up some bricks and sat down on them. He leaned back and looked at the sky, because remember, there was no roof. It was peaceful here, and he began to feel better. He was not quite as angry now. Those were our first 3 chapters. I don't know what you think of the book so far. I'm kind of all over the place with it. Mom, Dad, Gregory, Aunt Grace, Uncle Max. Almost forgetting his birthday, to it being the worst birthday, to being the best birthday because he has his own room, which only lasted for a little bit, and now he has to share a room with Uncle Max, who's 20 and doesn't work, and I don't know what's going to happen with all of that. But the Chalkbox Kid, come back tomorrow and we'll have 3 more chapters. I miss you. Have a super day.